I just did Ultra back-to-back with Creamfields. Ultra, I was with a group of people, and Creamfields, I was completely alone. So let's talk about what it's like to rave by yourself versus with the group. I have done many festivals with friends and by myself, but most recently I did Ultra Miami with a bunch of friends, and then the following week, so it was literally back to back, I did Creamfields Hong Kong completely alone. And there are a lot of pros and cons, ups and downs of both like raving with a group and raving solo. So I want to talk about my experience at both of these festivals. We'll go through raving with a group, so my entire experience at Ultra, and this is pretty much my experience when I'm raving with anybody. So the first pro, obviously, is just being able to be with your friends. You're never alone, you always have somebody around, so you're always having somebody to vibe with, dance with, make memories with. So that's just a huge pro of it, is that never having to be alone and experiencing the music, the atmosphere, your favorite thing to do in life with somebody else that feels the exact same way about it as you. And of course, that's really special. Another pro is that you're always gonna have somebody to take your photos, and that's a huge plus. And you're comfortable with these people too, so they probably already know your angles, how to get down and low. They know to take multiple shots. Like, we're past the days of just taking one picture and moving on. Some people don't know that, but for the most part, my girlfriends and even some of my guy friends, they just know how to take my photos, and I give the same energy to them too. So it's always nice just having somebody know what you want and to be able to get your vision and make sure that you get these amazing, epic festival photos. Along with the photo thing of not only just getting photos of yourselves, but you're gonna have all these fun friend photos to take with each other. And I've always been a photo taker ever since I was young and had in the days of digital cameras or disposable to digital to now. I'm a photo taker. I want to take pictures with everybody that I come across, even if it's a quick selfie or a group photo. I love the friend photos, and so it's nice to always have a bunch of those. And I notice I always get like a lot more of those than I do when I'm actually by myself. So it's nice to have all of the friend photos. Another pro would be to have matching fits or group costumes. And that just makes it fun to be able to plan outfits together, whether it's with one other person, whether you want to do something matching or a theme thing, or have a bunch of people join in on it. That's always so much fun. You make such good memories. The photos are epic. So I love the matching or the group fits. A pro outside of the festival would be is if you're traveling to an out-of-state festival, the cost of hotels and Ubers, maybe food if you're grocery shopping and cooking in the Airbnb or something, all of that is so much more affordable when you're splitting it with 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, however many people. So you could save costs like that by going with a group. Now let's jump into the cons of group raving. So one of the things is, say you're leaving a crowd or a set to go to another set, and if you have 1 or 2 people, it's easy to keep up with them. But if you have more than 5, trying to gather everybody up and make your way from one stage to another stage, food, drinks, whatever, is a process because there's just so many other people around. So you don't want to leave any man behind. You don't want to leave anybody behind. So you have to constantly be checking and making sure somebody kind of has to take the lead and make sure all the people in the group are there. Or if they're walking through the crowd, you're constantly, turning back and making sure that everybody that's supposed to be with you is with you, counting heads, whatever. And there are times that you're gonna get split up because you can't just walk in a group. If you're going through a crowd, you're gonna have to like get in a single file line and try to get out that way. And so it just makes it hard. Like, I feel like you're constantly stopping and making sure everybody's coming. So that's a downside. So say you don't come in with that group that you're gonna meet them inside the festival. That can also be another con, depending on your service, if texts are going through or not, if you can call them or not. Setting up meeting times can be really easy or it can be really difficult. So with a group, I say try to pick a very clear spot and a meeting time. And if the cell service is working, that's perfect. But I've been so frustrated at festivals trying to meet up with a friend. We didn't pick an exact set time or an artist to see or designated spot, and so they're trying to tell me, hey, I'm at Neon Garden next to the third post on the left, and then you go and you don't see them. So that can be really frustrating. And I've kind of learned that if you're not gonna make the effort to come and find me, I'm not gonna go find you. I've just had to learn that. With certain people, I'll make the exception with, or know that they're dependable or they're like writing me back, then I'll go and meet them. But no, I'm done. My days of, hey, I'm here, come meet me, are over. I'm the one sending, hey, I'm here, come meet me text, because I'm not gonna do it the other way. Keeping on with the friend talk, say you have 10 different people that you know are gonna be at this festival and they're your friends. So of course you wanna see them, but it gets so difficult trying to make sure that you meet up with every single friend that's in there. At Ultra, sometimes it was really easy and then sometimes it wasn't. A few of the days, everybody kind of trickled in at the same time, and so I was like, I'm by the Ultra sign at main stage, and everybody just kind of came there, and that was easy. And so I've had so many different groups of people that some of them didn't even know each other, just all come together to meet me. But I also like doing that sometimes too, just to be able to introduce people, because we're ravers, like we're all loving and accepting, and we love meeting other fellow ravers and making new friendships. But sometimes it doesn't work out that easy, and more people get there at different times, and you're just trying to figure out, how am I going to meet up with this person? Or even say you have a set that you want to see them at, like you still just may not even run into them. There were times like, okay, I'm going to be at Dom Dalla, okay, so am I. And then another friend, I'm definitely going to be there too, but the service stopped working. The closer I got to the stage, service stopped working, so it was hard to meet up sometimes with people. Thankfully, over the 3 days that I was at Ultra, I managed to meet up with everybody that I wanted to meet up with, but it got a little frustrating, so that's gonna be my next point. Meeting up with people comes with all of the where are you texts. Say if you, again, back to the point of not having a designated spot, because I was just somewhere in the festival, somebody showed up late, I felt like I was constantly answering where are you at texts and trying to describe where I was. So say I was at a set, enjoying it. If I wasn't, filming for YouTube or TikTok, I'm not constantly filming on my phone. So there were times like, yes, I get my little clip and then I put my phone down, but I really couldn't because I was constantly being text asking to meet up and where I was. And of course I love everybody, so I want to meet up with everybody. But I just remember being so frustrated at so many sets that I couldn't actually watch the set because I'm telling somebody where I'm at, and then I'm standing constantly looking around. Okay, I'm here, I don't see you. Well, shit, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I'm right next to this pole, or I try to describe just so thoroughly where I'm at and want them to do the same too, but I just got really tired of having to constantly be on my phone and texting and looking out for somebody. Obviously, when I finally met up with these people or that one person or whatever it was, of course I'm happy and I feel good and I can put my phone away, but it's just frustrating in those little moments of constantly, where are you at? What are you doing? I don't see you. Yeah. Placement in the crowd can also be a con depending on what your vibe is. So early in the day, you can get kind of close to the stage if you want to ride the rail or whatever. Obviously later in the day that it gets, it's going to get way more packed. So depending on how many people you're with can have an impact on where you get placed in the crowd. There were times that we would start up way, at the front towards the rail or closer to the stage, but the more people that just kept filtering in, like we just kind of kept getting broken up or, having to be pushed back. So, I really don't mind being at the back. I like the space anyways. The second strangers start touching me and I can't dance, I want to get the hell out of there anyways. But that may be a con if you are somebody that likes to be way up at the front. If you're with a group of people, sometimes that just isn't manageable. And the last con for me would have to be babysitting. So I don't partake in any illegal substances. I do occasionally drink. I don't care what anybody else does. I'm not here to judge. I've been in the rave scene for 11 years, and I myself have done I'm just gonna say drugs in the past, but I don't do them anymore. I don't give a shit what anybody else does. Just be safe, be responsible, but also don't make it my problem. The second that somebody is too fucked up out of their minds, whether they're too drunk or fucked up on something else, and I feel like I'm having to babysit you, that's what I don't like. That's where it becomes a problem. That's when I'm like, I don't want to be around this person that's all fucked up. And who would? We're at a festival. We want to have fun and enjoy the music and dance and all that, but if we feel like we're constantly looking out for somebody, that's a drag, and I don't want to do that. So again, to each their own. Do what you gotta do, but just make sure that you can take care of yourself at the end of the day, because we're all grown-ass adults, and I'm not here to babysit somebody as if they were drinking for the first time or doing their first drugs and acting like they're 17 years old. I'm not doing it. Now let's get into solo raving. So I have gone to small scale events such as shows at your local club, to festivals by myself, and I've traveled, to different states, different countries. And this recent trip to Hong Kong was my biggest solo adventure to date. So I've always wanted to go to Hong Kong, and I found a festival that I wanted to go to there. So put two and two together and I went. So I went to Creamfields, Hong Kong, completely alone. And let me tell you about all the good things about raving solo. First thing, you can come and go as you please. You decide what time you want to get to the festival, what time you want to leave from the festival. And there's a lot of other things that go into that too, like kind of seeing whatever artist you want to see, how long you want to see it. You just have the freedom to maneuver as you want. And you just not having to wait on anybody. There's been times that I've missed, I'm gonna say it, I missed Cascade, the sunset set at EDC Orlando, because one of my friends was still getting ready and she was the one driving us. I love you, Emily, if you're watching this, but something like that, like I wanted to be at that set, and that broke my heart. So the point of the lovely thing about raving solo is that if you want to get there when gates open, do it. If you want to get there and halfway through the night, do it. Point is, you can get there when you want and you can leave when you want. And I mentioned seeing whatever artist and set you want. You don't have to compromise with anybody, and you can just go. If you want to watch an hour of one set or the whole set, 5 minutes, do whatever you want. Stage hop, and you don't have to tell anybody. You can just do it. And I notice when you're with a friend and you're like, okay, I want to go see this set. Like, you can still go, everybody does their own thing, but you're like, okay, well, what time are we gonna meet back up? You don't gotta worry about any of that. Just go with the vibe, see how you feel. If you like a set, stay. If you don't, move it. Being able to take breaks, go to the bathroom, eat and drink as you please is easy. Again, I know you can do that with a friend, but say you got your food and now you're waiting on your friend's food that's taken forever, to be made, and now you have to eat and then wait for them. No, you don't got to do any of that. You can eat something quick, eat whatever you want, take a sit down and eat for an hour. Doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want. It's so nice. I have found that when I'm by myself, it's so much more easier to make friends because you're alone, and if you're vibing and dancing, you just look approachable. Like, hey, that girl looks mad cool. I want to go talk to her. So when I'm alone, and this goes for any kind of setting, really not just festivals, but I get approached a lot more by girls and boys when I'm alone. And I could see why somebody maybe wouldn't want to approach a group of friends because they're like, oh, well, they already got their little clique. They don't, want to talk to me. But no, people come up to me so much when I'm by myself. So I feel like it's a lot easier to, just make new friends. I have friends literally all around the world from going to festivals or traveling by myself that I've just met out living life alone, and it's great. And again, you can make friends with groups, but I feel in my experience it's just been much easier to make friends. And if you're somebody that's single, you could, if you're a guy that's single, you see a girl that she's by herself and go off and do your own thing. And the same thing with me, meeting guys and I don't have a friend with me. It doesn't get weird third wheel vibes or anything like that. And again, I know you can still meet somebody with friends, but it's just easier doing it alone in my experience. And it is so much easier getting in and out of the crowd when it's just one person. When I'm by myself, I feel like I can get right up to the rail if I want, and it's just me. Even if it does get a little crowded or tight, you know, I'm not looking over making sure my friend is okay or whoever else is with me is okay. It's just me and myself, and that's all I gotta worry about. And when I'm done and out of there, I can easily get the hell out of that crowd, and it's a lot easier just to maneuver and easily switch spots if one area gets crowded. And I just like to float around like a little butterfly. A pro outside of the festival is when you're back in your hotel and it's nice and quiet. You don't have to wait for the bathroom, you don't have to wait for the shower, you're not listening to anybody snore, you're not having to move other people's shit out of your way. You can be as messy or as clean or do whatever the hell you want in that room because it is just you. And I love that freedom to be able to sleep in or not. I'm such a light sleeper. Somebody snoring, breathing heavy, talking in their sleep, I'm not sleeping at night, so I do like staying alone. Now let's get into the cons of solo raving. So for me, one of my biggest cons is that I don't have anybody to take my pictures. So I either set my phone up on the floor, I did take a little tripod with me, but I hardly used it, so I just prop up my phone on against my water bottle, or I would take selfies. You can ask people to take your photos, but they're not gonna sit there and give you the photos that your friends would give you. They're not gonna take a lot of angles, or they don't know how you like your photos. You're telling them the whole thing, head to toe. No, don't turn it vertical, leave it horizontal. Or some people get it and they like it. They're like, I got you, girl, and they'll like blow me out of the water and take better pictures than I ever have. But I feel like more times than not, no. They're trying to get to the crowd, or they're trying to go from one stage to the next with their friends, and you have to stop and ask them to take pictures, or if it's somebody in a crowd, they're too close up. Like, it's a lot. So that could be a downside, is that you don't get as good of pictures as you would with friends. And the same thing goes with videos. So some of my friends are so good about filming in times that I don't even realize that they're filming me. And so thank you to everybody. I feel like Alyssa does this so well, and Kaylee, that later on I'll just get all these videos of me shuffling, and I love that because I'm in the crowd. Obviously I don't shuffle, I don't ask somebody to film me every time I'm shuffling or whatever, because I'm in the music and I'm vibing and it feels good. But my friends just get these awesome ass videos, and so because I've seen that they do that, I try to put more effort into it too, and get my friends in the moment, that they look their best, they're having fun, they just, oh, it just looks amazing. So it's nice to be able to capture that energy back and forth with your friends, and it sucks when nobody's there, but it's still nice, you're still living in the moment. The con is that there is a possibility that you don't make friends. So for example, my first night at Creamfields, I got really lucky because my friend Henry introduced me to his friend Sally, who was in Hong Kong. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have met anybody my first night. And that's okay. Sometimes though, I also don't like put in the effort. So I also don't leave it up to just somebody else to be, to approach me. I make the effort too, but that was the only person that I, made a connection with that night, and I felt like an actual friendship. But other than that, no, I didn't meet anybody, and that's okay. So, there is a possibility that you're not gonna make friends. If you're shy and you don't know how to go and talk to people or approach them, or maybe somebody just doesn't approach you, you don't look approachable, or it's just not your night. It's not always about how you look and you scaring somebody off or whatever. Sometimes you just don't make friends, and that's okay. That's happened to me before different events, or maybe one day of a festival I don't make a friend, but the next day I do. So there is a possibility, but don't ever let that stop you. You are there because you want to hear the music, you love to dance, you love this artist, so don't ever let that stop you of like, well, nobody talked to me all night, or I'm not gonna make friends, or it's hard. You're there for you, so be there, be happy, be in the moment. You're your own best friend. I'm my best friend. Well, I'm my number one fan. Another downside of solo raving is you just have to be so much more careful, cautious, responsible, and safe over yourself. whether it's at a small venue in your local city or out of state, out of the country, it doesn't matter. Always take the same precautions no matter where you are to keep yourself safe, because there's nobody else looking out for you. It's all on you. I have made the mistake of getting super drunk at a festival by myself, blacking out and like sitting in a porta potty for hours. I'm not proud of that, and that's really scary. Anybody could have taken advantage of me. Anybody could have stolen my shit. Like, you just don't know. So those are the things that could happen to you. Again, that could happen to you with, even if you are with a group of people, but I feel like it's just more prone to happen if you're by yourself and just being really careless. And also too, when you make friends with somebody, you still don't know who they are at the end of the day. Just use your judgment, use your gut feeling, let people know outside of the festival, your friends back home. Always share your location with somebody. That's what I do when I do anything by myself, is there's always somebody that has my location, or text your friends like, hey, I met this guy. This is what he looks like. That's what I do. If I meet somebody and I'm somewhere, like, I will ask the man for a picture of his ID, send a picture of his ID next to his face to a friend, because I'm protecting myself. That's first and foremost. And if a man, or you can, guys, you can do this with ladies too, if they don't want to participate, like, no, you're not gonna take a picture of me or my ID, bye. Like, I'm protecting myself. That's what's most important. Safety first always. So, and for the Ubers, hotels, obviously you're the only one taking on that full expense, so that's definitely a downside. Yes, you get the whole room to yourself and it's nice and quiet, but it can be pricey, you know? And I'm at a point in life to where, you know, I'm a grown-ass woman, my safety is important, so I can't just go with the cheapest option. When I was in my 20s with friends, sometimes we'd be like, fuck it, let's just stay at this motel. Absolutely not, you know? Do what you gotta do, but my safety is important. So I don't like staying in motels anymore where the doors are facing outside. I like something with like a lobby, or where the doors lock after a certain time. And again, bad things can happen in more upscale hotels too, but my safety is important. So I'm willing to pay more for more expensive hotel with good reviews and better safety and a good area too, to make sure that I'm safe. So you will pay a little bit more, and then you're the one taking on the cost of the Ubers. Or if you're driving, you're the one who has to drive yourself to and from, park, pay for parking, all of it. So you're the one who's taking on all the expenses, which can be a downside, but it is what it is. And that is everything that I have come up with in my experience. I'm sure there are so much more, like, pros and cons to each. So if you have any that I didn't mention here in this video, drop them down in the comments. You know, I'd love to know. But overall, I love both. Honestly, I wouldn't choose raving with a group or raving solo over the other. I would put them at the same. I've just had so much fun doing both, and I've also had the same kind of like negative experiences doing both. So for me, I can't choose one or the other. I'm grateful for when I have people to rave with, and I'm grateful when I get to just do it solo too. So one is not better than the other to me, and I recommend anybody do it. Say you've never raved solo. I want you to go out and try it just one time. And if you don't want to leave the state or the country like I did, then go to a show, you know, your local show, in your city, wherever that's at. Like, I could go to Space by myself here in Miami, it doesn't matter, but just give it a shot. You never know what could happen. You could like it, you could enjoy the freedom. So yeah, I recommend both. And if you've never raved solo, or if you just missed any of my Creamfields series, it's linked up here. So that whole trip to Hong Kong, again, I've already mentioned, it was by myself. So you'll see, if you've never traveled by yourself, gone to a festival, anything, like, go watch the series, please. And you can see how I navigated everything from me flying out of Miami to navigating around the city. I showed you the kind of hotels that I stayed in, how I got, you know, to and from the festival, me actually in the festival and meeting people, and then going out at night, because I went out and had a nightlife and went to some bars and things like that. So go ahead and catch up on my Creamfields series to see how I solo traveled Hong Kong. And please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you liked these tips, or if you want more festivals, food, and flying from me. The next video is going to be my prep for EDC. So EDC Vegas is coming up. That is my next big event. I'm going to be making some of my outfits, and so I'm just going to show everything, whether I'm making candy or bedazzling sunglasses, making my outfits. That's going to be my EDC prep video, and that's going to be next. You don't want to miss it, so go ahead and subscribe. subscribe, please, like I said. And don't forget to follow me on TikTok and Instagram at electric_Ollie. Bye.